Hello guys, welcome back to DR Sports. It's Kenya. I'm here joined with Laurie. How are you, Uncle Laurie?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. Just taking in this transfer news. Every day's something else.
Yeah,
it's a gift that keeps giving. So yeah, man, riding that wave.
Yeah, but before we get into anything, welcome to Live at 5. There's no transfers without drama, as we're seeing. And now you have to put your survival instincts to the test. It's time for Final One Standing. It's free to play. There's 500k jackpot. There's no admin fees and there's guaranteed winners. Just each week, pick a Premier League team of your choosing and they have to win. If they lose or if they draw, you're out. You're done. All you need to do is download the William Hill app, scan the QR code on the screen or click the link below. Register for free and make your pick for a shot at £500,000. You have to be 18 plus. You have to be 18 plus, and it's available only in the UK and in Ireland. Remember to always gamble responsibly, and the full T's and C's apply, and it's all linked below. Bruh, where do we even start? Let's start with the big news, which is Benjamin Sesko. Here we go. Fabrizio Romano dropped this. You know, it says 2 hours ago here. Benjamin Sesko to Man United. Here we go. Agreement club to club reached with RB Leipzig for 76.5 million euros plus 8.5 million add-ons. And Sesko has agreed terms until 2030. Sesko made it clear on Tuesday that he only wanted Man United. Deal now reality, and it will be a new striker for Ruben Amorim. I mean, we were talking about this before. I think this is a good signing for Man United. What do you...
Yeah, that's my initial thoughts. I think it's a good signing, and it's interesting as an Arsenal fan because we were heavily linked with Sesko, and here we are now. It looked like Sesko will be lining up against us in the first game of the season next week.
Exactly,
so it's quite ironic, really.
It's very funny, isn't it? Because obviously Man United, they were very heavily linked with Gyökeres.
Yeah.
We were very heavily linked with Sesko. We've kind of swung the pendulum, essentially. And we're on the other side now where it's like, wow, we've signed Gyökeres. They're about to sign Sesko. I mean, that is, you know, it's big news for Man United. It's also like, where are they getting the money from to do all this stuff?
Yeah, well, it does make you wonder, doesn't it? I mean, we were being told that they were cash-strapped and they're having to sell this, sell that. And people are getting sacked from the club that have worked there for many years and then they go out and spend money on...
Exactly. I mean,
striker.
Do you not remember where Sir Jim did that video where he was like, yo, we're basically broke.
We ain't got no money.
Yeah, he said, we ain't got no money. I'm not sure where the cash is coming from. But 85 million euros, essentially. That's a lot of money, man.
A lot of money. And when you consider as well, they've also signed in Mbeumo and Cunha. I think Sesko's a very good addition. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, we're probably going to come to it, but they're linked with Belieber as well.
Yeah. They're linked with... Belieber of Brighton as well. I mean, I just think, you know, it kind of went from like, oh, they're linked to him. I mean, we've spoken about many strikers from Man United. Obviously, they're linked to Gyökeres, linked to Ollie Watkins, Nicholas Jackson. I mean, to get someone who's such a young, hot commodity in right now, I mean, it's a high price, but it might be worth it in the end.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the guy is obviously a very good player. He's only very young, so presumably he has a high ceiling. Yeah. And United, they've had that area of the team has been a problem for them. Højlund has not been productive in terms of scoring goals. So they will be looking at that and thinking, they're solving that problem.
But if you're like, do you know, it's so funny that we talk about this because, you know, if you're a young player, so I saw someone tweet this the other day. Imagine if you're Chido Obi Martin, who's left Arsenal to kind of go and excel his career. Because to be fair to him, he didn't start at all. To be fair, he didn't really not be given a chance, but I guess he didn't even allow the chance for it to happen. He's moved to Man United, where like, you know, they're in a very transitional phase. They don't have a lot of money, so it could have been a good opportunity for him to break through. You're now seeing. You had Højlund Højlund was already there. Then Xerxes joins. Now you've got Benjamin Sesko, you've got Brian Mbeumo, who can play also as a striker. You've got Cunha, who could play a false nine. What do you think for someone that young, who's obviously got incredible amounts of potential? Like, how would you feel if that was you? Like,
he must be thinking, wow, what am I doing here? Because he went from Arsenal to Man United, citing the lack of opportunities that he was getting at Arsenal. gone to Man United. He wasn't able to displace. And listen, I know he would have been, behind in the pecking order. He would have been behind Xerxes and Højlund, but he was having trouble displacing those guys.
Yeah.
And now look, Mbeumo, Cunha, and now Sesko's rocked up. He's probably thinking, he might have to go elsewhere to get football. It's as simple as that.
I mean, look, he played a few Europa League games, I want to say. He came off... Actually, I'm not sure if it's Europa League. I just remember him coming off the bench a couple of times. He looked really lively for them. But, I don't know, if I'm Chido, man, I'm thinking, right, I've just left Arsenal, trying to go somewhere else to get my playing time up. And then you see Man United, go drop big money on Højlund, big money on Sesko, big money on Mbeumo. Your chances of maybe potentially breaking through and being the guy just starts to get much slimmer.
I would go further than that. I'd say it's very remote at this stage. Because what are they going to do with Højlund and Xerxes? Because Højlund's already said that he wants to stay and fight for his place. Yeah. And he would be above... Chido Martin in terms of the pecking order. Yeah, which is Xerxes. Which
is crazy to me because, look, don't get me wrong, I mean, Højlund he's a starter at the moment, but that's not because he's been good. That's because he's been the only option. Is it not fair to say that someone like Chido deserves a bit of a chance? He's been so good in under 21s. He's shown glimmers of it, when he's played for Man United senior team. I mean, just give the kid a chance, innit?
Yeah, but, as we keep saying, Kenya, football at the top is very ruthless. And I've got to be honest, man, it doesn't look good for him, does it? Yeah, it's looking bleak. Because like I said, all of a sudden, you've got 3 quality players rocking up at Man United. He was already finding it difficult to get into the team ahead of Xerxes and Højlund. Now you're counting up against guys that are infinitely superior to those aforementioned guys. I'll say, look, it's likely that he'll move on. Let's put it that way.
Well, just reading here, it says the deal for Benjamin Sesko is, if we're talking about in pounds, the initial fee would be £66.3 million, and with an added 37 million performance-related add-ons, and he's expected to fly to the UK on Thursday night and will do his medical in the next 24 to 48 hours. But obviously there's another club that really, really wanted him, and they've missed out again on a top target, and that's Newcastle. I mean, it says here they've been working on a deal for him since Tuesday. They made a second bid, which actually was higher than what Man United it says, made a second bid of 69.7 million plus add-ons, which was higher than Man United's after an initial offer of just under 70 mil. I mean, what is Newcastle's issue? Why can't they just get the guy? Because they've put in 2 bids. Man United just said, one time, put down this amount, that's 85 mil, take that. And
although, to be fair to Newcastle, I think what that is showing is that even though Manchester United had an horrific season last season, they've had all sorts of problems. I think the one thing that this shows is that they are still a big, big club. I mean, I would say Man United are not far off Real Madrid. I would say Real Madrid are probably the biggest club in the world, but Man United can't be far behind. And what we're seeing now is that even the Man United, in a relatively dilapidated state, is still seen as a bigger project than Newcastle is. And also, and I made this point the other day on another show, is that a lot of footballers with egos will have that kind of saviour complex about them. They will be looking at Man United and think, okay, they've been garbage for the last couple of seasons, but I can come in there now and really be the difference. I'm sure that does, feature in a lot of these guys' minds, as it would do. They'll think, if I can help turn this around, I will be a hero for life there. Exactly. So I think that plays into it as well. Yeah,
I mean, we're now talking Sesko, João Pedro, Cunha, Mbeumo, James Trafford, Mark Gay. This is a unprecedented amount of players that are basically saying, I'd rather stay where I am, or I'd rather go somewhere else. Yeah. And I mean, for Newcastle that have a really exciting project, they've got a great manager, they've got great players, a great fan base. The club's got a great history. To have bid twice for a guy, and he's sat there saying, you know, he himself, when you think about it, has missed out on a massive move to other clubs previously, mostly Arsenal. And for you guys basically to bid for him twice, and he's there saying, "Oh, I'm not too sure," and then another club comes in, bids once, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gone." Does that encourage other players that Newcastle want to try and get potentially to say, yeah, this is the right place to go? Because I don't know, if I was a player and I'm seeing that, I'd be like, yo, man, what's wrong with this place? What's wrong with this club? Or
I do think the Man United factor had something to do with it. I think if it was another club, say it was, I don't know, an Everton or, you know what I mean, something like that, I do think that they would have gone to Newcastle. It's just that Newcastle are battling it out with teams like Liverpool and United, and they're not that big in terms, especially if you think about it, foreign players.
Yeah.
So someone like Mbeumo and Sesko and play, they would have obviously heard of Newcastle, but it doesn't resonate the same way a Man United would.
Yeah.
So you can understand why they would find the Man United a more attractive option.
Yeah, no, it's true. And just sticking on Man United, Carlos Baleba of Brighton. I mean, this is someone that shout out Dylan's been talking so much about. And to be honest, I've been saying to him as well, I think Man United's issue isn't like... I always said to Dylan, you guys could survive a season without a striker. I think Cunha and Mbeumo could do a job for you in those attacking areas. But what you really need is a midfielder. And now they've approached Brighton about signing Carlos Baleba, but apparently it's a very complicated deal. Brighton do not want to sell him, and it's seen as a very unlikely move. This is according to what David Ornstein said yesterday. I mean, if they get that off the ground, though, that's a fantastic signing.
Yeah, I can see that happening as well. I mean, if you're a believer and you're going from Brighton to Man United, not only that, you're seeing the types of profile and calibre of player that have been attracting recently.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, that Man United proposition seems an extremely attractive one. And again, saviour complex again. You'll look at that and think, I can be part of that new project that's going to take United into that new phase.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's very attractive, very appealing, and I would imagine he will go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where Carlos Baleba's from. I'm just going to Google it, but he's Cameroonian. So wow, so he would have played with Mbeumo then. I want to say Mbeumo's Cameroonian as well. So I mean, that's
Onana's Cameroonian.
Yeah, exactly. There's they've got the links there as well. I mean, it's just whether he's gonna go there. I think, you know what, if it happened earlier in the window, I'd be like, oh yeah, I think it would definitely happen. Brighton are a selling club, and knowing them, they'd be able to replace him quite well, as they've shown already. I mean, they lost Caicedo, they've replaced Caicedo with Baleba. Yeah. I mean,
their scouting network, it must be one of the best in the Premier League.
Yeah, it actually is.
Instead of a doubt.
It actually is.
They're consistently able to turn out players. I mean,
you think about it. At the time, they got a record fee for Caicedo from Chelsea. I mean, that's been topped by Florian Wirtz now, but I mean, they're an incredible scouting club.
Yeah.
But it's whether now they might be looking at it like, yo, the season starts next week. Can't afford to lose someone as pivotal, as great as Baleba. And as well, maybe they could look at it and be like, right, this gives us the opportunity to look for somebody else in that position, and as well maybe rise his price. Say to someone like Man United, yo, if you want him, man, that's more money.
Well, Brighton have made no secret of, I've heard Tony Bloom talk on a number of occasions. He makes no secret of the fact that they are essentially a selling club.
Yeah.
But they do it with a purpose.
Yeah.
They bring players in for relatively low money. They spot the potential, bring them in, develop them, and sell them on for lots of money.
Yeah.
And it's an ongoing cycle, and they've been very good at it.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I mean, obviously we're both Arsenal fans. I'm looking at that first game of the season, man. Like,
oh man,
it's already tough going to Old Trafford. It's always a place where we've struggled. We don't really have a great record there. But you now start to look at that team of Mbeumo, of Cunha, of Sesko, of potentially Baleba, Bruno Fernandes. You start to look at that team that last season was incredibly poor, just below average, really. And that's quite, that's probably a compliment to what they were last season. You start to look at that team now and say, yo, this is actually a serious team, especially a team that's only going to play one game a week.
Yeah. And they've got that wounded animal syndrome. They'll be desperate to show they're not as bad as what they were last season. There's also a few subplots to that game as well.
Yeah.
When we play them, obviously the main one being the Jokeris Sesko could be lining up against each other. Everyone would be saying, who got the right striker? And that's a massive, massive game, man. I can't wait for that game, by the way. That's a massive game. I mean, but there's a lot on that. There's a lot riding on that game.
I don't know who I'd be picking in my final one standing, man. But
I would lean towards Arsenal.
Yeah, obviously.
But it's interesting because previously when we spoke about this game, everyone was saying, the midfield of United is an area that they're quite poor in.
Yeah.
But if they're bringing Belieber, then obviously that addresses that. So, man, that's a massive game.
Yeah, Rastamouse sends in a super chat for you, Uncle Laurie. This is a bit zesty. Bro says, Laurie, you're very attractive and I watch because of you.
Who sent that?
Rastamouse, and he's got a picture of Cecil as his profile picture. That is so funny. That's quite Cecil code.
Well, the compliment's nice. I'll take the compliment. Anytime anyone says that in good faith, then hey, you know what I mean? Then I must be doing something right.
Yeah, tell me about it. But that first game, Man United Arsenal, is going to be something to watch. Honestly, I'm actually really excited to see.
Yeah, man.
Well, I'm excited if we decide to play differently to how we've been playing.
Well, there's still time to work on that. But I mean, what a game though. That game is wow. And there's so much riding on that game.
Yeah. I think obviously if either of those teams win, you start to look at obviously the Arsenal are under much more pressure than Man United. If Man United are not expected to beat Arsenal.
No.
But if they were to beat Arsenal, people start looking at them much differently now. We're talking about Arsenal, which no Big Six team have been able to beat Arsenal in the league for a good 3 years now.
I mean, you're right. There is a lot more pressure on Arsenal, but there is also pressure on Man United because they had a poor season last season.
They finished 17th.
Yeah, so you don't want to be having your first game at home and your deadly rivals from south of the border turn up and roll you over on there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, for Arsenal, the pressure is immense because, we're expected to be title contenders and let's be honest, the margins for error this season are going to be relatively small, so you can't afford to be dropping points on the opening day of the season. So, we've
seen that before as well.
It's crazy,
Yeah, we've seen that before. Against a team, against Brentford, a team that we should have beaten and we didn't, and then we went on a losing streak in that season. That's right. Not great. But kind of going still on United, but let's go over to Chelsea because Chelsea have been linked with a United player, Alejandro Garnacho.
Yeah.
So Chelsea have now apparently opened initial talks with Man United over the sale of Garnacho, and it's believed Man United want around £40 million. I mean, do you think that's a fair price for someone like Alejandro Garnacho?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, let's be honest, his price has devalued because he had a less than stellar season last season in terms of his performances on the pitch, and obviously it was compounded worse by some of the stuff that was going off the pitch, rumours of him falling out with the manager, rumours of him being difficult to handle and doing one or two things, like the Villa shirt and all that type of stuff. So he kind of blotted his copybook a little bit. But I would say, even as an Arsenal fan, he is an outstanding talent. I mean, on his day, when when he's got his head right and playing well, he is a talent. I mean, you've only got to look at the overhead kick, which for me,
Puskas.
One of the best goals I've seen in the Premier League. You've got to be somebody of outstanding ability.
Was that better than Wayne Rooney's? It's close, isn't it?
There's an argument for saying it.
Because I want to say Garnacho's was a bit further.
It was a bit further out, and if you look at the actual technique, the way he strikes the ball, it's more.
It was very Ronaldo-esque.
Yeah, it was, man. I mean, Rooney's was a little bit off the side of his foot.
Yeah,
great goal, Rooney. Don't get me wrong, but Garnacho's was. The technique was fantastic. Absolutely spot on.
I mean, it won an award.
Like I said, to score a goal, to even attempt that, man, you got to have something about it.
Yeah.
He's quick. He's got pace. He can play football. Yeah, man. If you can get a tune out of him, I think that he'll be a very good player. And him going to Chelsea, that worries me a little bit. Personally, I want guys like him to go abroad, not to stay in the Premier League. But
I mean, remember he was linked. I think he was linked with Napoli at the start, early in the start of the window. He's been linked with Aston Villa. He's now been linked with Chelsea for a long time. Because I'm pretty sure they put in am I right to say they put in a bid for him in January? This is where it all started. I think they put in a bid for him in January or something like that, or they inquired about him. I mean, he is a great young talent.
And if they can get him, you're talking about, Delap they've signed, João Pedro, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Jamie Gittins.
Yeah.
You've got Cole Palmer, you've got Pedro Neto.
That's a considerable
and
team.
You think about it from a Chelsea point of view, they've lost Noni Madueke, who obviously is a right winger but can play on the left. They want to move on Nicholas Jackson, who we'll speak a bit more about. So in terms of depth, that is actually a good signing. You've got a young upcoming player who's still got so much. I want to say he's like 20 years old. He's still got so much to prove. He's Argentinian international. He's played with the likes of Ronaldo and Messi. Not many people can say of that privilege. And you see at United, don't get me wrong, last season wasn't his greatest season, but you still see that this is a very talented
the talent
individual. It's just, as Ruben Amorim said it's just not worked out for them personally, and maybe him going to Chelsea, where obviously he's working with someone like Enzo Maresca, who's maybe used to working with a lot of young players, especially now with Chelsea, has actually been able to win them something. I mean, that might actually be a good environment for him.
Yeah, definitely.
Plus, he'll be with Enzo, who's obviously another Argentinian. Yeah. So I think it.
No, that would be. And let's be honest as well. Chelsea have a certain momentum with them. After winning the European trophy, they win, then going on to win the Club World Cup, beating PSG in the final. Yeah. So comprehensively, there's a certain energy and momentum about them. And then again, on top of some of the signings they're bringing in, so they're potentially a formidable team this season.
Yeah, man, they look really good. I think as well, my thing with Chelsea has always been, it's never really been about the attack, it's always been about their defence. And I think that's something that you're starting to see. Like Cucurella, when he maybe first joined Chelsea, it was a bit shaky, but he cemented himself really well. I think he was one of Chelsea's best players last season, if not one of the best left backs in the league last season. And then you start looking at someone like
Brighton player.
Yeah, exactly. Another Brighton. So I was about to say Levi Colwill, someone who was also at Brighton on loan. Someone who you can tell is a really good young centre back, but maybe at times needed someone next to him. Especially in the latter parts of the season, you start to see him step up much more, especially in that Club World Cup. I mean, if they can sort out locking their defence, like see if someone like Trevor Chalobah, who obviously at one point they wanted to get rid of, if they're able to keep him, maybe bolster their defence a bit more, we're looking at a team that can do serious things.
Definitely.
Do you know what I mean?
Did I hear Colwill might be injured at the moment?
Oh, I'm not even sure. Let me.
I'm sure I saw something today that suggests he might be carrying an injury, or was picked up an injury, or something like that.
Let me just have a look.
Not that I'm wishing it on him, but I did hear that.
Yeah, I'm just having a look now. I think you might be right. Enzo Maresca guarded on Nicholas Jackson's future as Levi Colwill suffers an injury setback. It doesn't say what it is. It just says that he probably might not be available for their friendlies. I mean, going back to their game, they've got Crystal Palace, I think, away. Let me see. I think they might have Crystal Palace away on the first game of the season. I mean, that's not an easy game.
Not at all.
But you start, tell a lie, sorry, they're at home. So they're at home on Sunday, the 17th of August at 2:00 to Crystal Palace. I mean, that's not an easy game, but, I want to say they beat Palace last season, but, now you start to look at that fixture and say Chelsea look very clearly favourites. You start to actually doubt if Palace would be able to hinder them whatsoever in that game.
Well, I mean, Palace will have issues of their own in terms of personnel. Yeah. We'll talk about it later, but they could be losing their star man. We'll see. Even someone like Mark Gay is linked with a move away. So, I mean, I don't know if I'd be picking Palace as in my final. Chelsea at home for that game, right? Yeah, they're at home. Yeah, you would have to make Chelsea favourites. Yeah, for that game. I think you do, and I think just the high of that Club World Cup as well. Exactly. Yeah, they got momentum. Yeah, and like I said, they've made good signings this summer. So they've brought in Hato. They're still working on bringing in Xavi Simons of RB Leipzig, who's
another player that Leipzig is potentially going to lose. I mean, if they can get that one over the line as well, that's extra depth for someone like Cole Palmer. Xavi Simons can play on the wings. I mean, man, the team they're building it's actually good, man. I'm not going to lie. It is a bit of I think a lot of other teams need to start considering Chelsea a bit more.
Oh, yeah, 100%, yeah. They will be up there with the teams to watch, without a doubt.
I think as well, just give them a bit of credit. I think it's quite remarkable how well they've bounced back from, I think they finished 12th. They've just reached 40 points. They're a banter club. They had Gary Neville calling them £1 billion bottle jobs and stuff like that. And they've just quickly looked at that. They've turned it around. They've won something. They've won a European trophy. With basically all young players. They have no older experience in that team. And you know what? You're starting to go into this season like, could this team go on a title charge, or could this team really push in the Champions League or even in the domestic cups? And you can't actually doubt that they might not, if I'm being honest. But yeah, they're looking really good.
I mean, who would have thought? I mean, a lot of us kind of looked down on that as a European trophy. But then
it's not the strongest of the three, but still something.
But then they went on to win the Club World Cup, so they have to be taken seriously now.
Exactly. Now
100%.
They definitely do. I mean, they're looking top, man. But you know what? Let's stay in London, because there's another team in London and their transfer window's been a bit maybe mixed, and that's Tottenham. I mean, we've seen James Maddison, unfortunately, it's confirmed now that he did tear his ACL in that pre-season game.
That's sad, actually. You don't want to wish that on any player.
Exactly. I mean, you never want to see any player tearing ACL. I think especially in the season that we're about to go into, we've got a World Cup year. Basically, he's going to miss all of the season. I mean, we know already as Arsenal fans, when Timber, he did his ACL first game of the season, tore it, and we didn't see him until I think the last game of the season, the last 2 games of the season. So, and we saw how much of a miss he was for our team. James Maddison, for them, he's so important to that midfield. And you start to look at that midfield now and you're like, right, they've got Basuma, they've got Bentancur, they've got Kudus, they've got Papsar, they've brought in João Palhinha, even someone like Kulusevski, he had to have surgery after that, just before that Europa League final. And some experts say that he might not be back till potentially November time. I mean, they've missed out on Morgan Gibbs-White. You start to look at that midfield and say, they definitely need players in there. But who is the players? Who are they going to get?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Kudus signing was a good signing. I think them missing out on Gibbs-White was a bit of a blow for them, because I think he would have been a really good signing for them. And then that's compounded by the loss to, with Maddison. You said that Kulusevski's out injured. So it's a mixed bag. One thing I would say, though, and they have made a very important signing in the summer, possibly the most important signing you can make at a football club, and that's the manager, Thomas Frank. Yeah. And I've always rated Thomas Frank as a good manager.
He's a fantastic manager.
I think he's exactly what Spurs need.
Yeah, I agree.
After Ange departing, you want somebody that's going to come in and stabilise things, and he's known for having a good work ethic, very intelligent football brain. Yeah. The kind of person that can harmonise a club, bring a club together. He handles the press very well, and he knows what he's doing, man. And I think that will probably turn out to be their biggest signing of the summer. I
actually agree with that, because I think before, obviously, when Andrew was still there, they were linked to Iriola of Bournemouth. And I was like, that would be good as well. But I think maybe for the long term, someone like Thomas Frank would be perfect, because he'd be able to revamp what that style of play is about. Yep. Maybe be able to retain players. And I think the style of play, his style of play is quite pragmatic, but he's shown as well he can play quite open football. He did do that with Brentford when they were in the Championship. I mean, I think it's a really good piece of work.
I mean, you got a little glimpse of Tottenham under Thomas Frank the other day when we played them. So basically what happened is he got his tactics right. They nullified Arsenal to a huge degree. They got a goal just before half-time, and then you saw in the second half...
just locked up shop.
They just locked up shop, and we couldn't unlock it. Yeah. And I've seen Thomas Frank do that to teams before. Yeah. And, I mean, he's working with better players now. certainly on paper, than he was with at Brentford. I think that's a really good appointment.
Yeah, I think
if you're a Spurs fan, you'd be pleased about that.
Yeah, I mean, Spurs are playing right now against Bayern Munich. I think it's just about to kick off, actually. I mean, I'm just looking at their team. Do you want me to read it out? They've got Vicario in goal, Jed Spence, Van der Ven, Romero, Pedro Porro, Bentancur, João Palhinha's straight in there.
Good
with
signing.
With Papsar, then Kudus, Brennan Johnson and Richarlison up front. And then obviously the Bayern team is quite strong, actually. Luis Diaz, I want to say maybe that's his first game, but Harry Kane's obviously playing. I mean, I guess we'll see more of what... We'll see more of what that...
Derby.
Yeah, the Harry Kane derby, essentially. I mean, I guess we'll see a bit more of what Spurs will be like in this game. I mean, this is probably a good team to play, a really good Bayern Munich team who obviously I've just brought in Luis Diaz. They've brought in Jonathan Tah. But, I mean, yeah, if they could maybe potentially get in a midfielder, I definitely think they do need that. And then as well, you start to look up front and say, right, Son's just left. Richarlison, can you rely on Richarlison for a full season? Not really. Dominic Solanke, as we speak right now, is out. Maybe they do need to look into that market and say, right, we need to really explore our options and try and get people in. Is it worth even just going back in for Eze?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Like, if you're Spurs, you're looking at it. Eze can play left wing. He's incredible centrally. He's Premier League proven. They've got the money to spend on Eze. I mean, not saying that I want them to, but why not go and do it? It's
Although I do think that if it comes down to Tottenham and Arsenal, I'm not just being biased there. I do think that Eze's preferred destination would be Arsenal.
Yeah,
but I do think
that already, yeah.
I do think they need an out-and-out striker, because as good as Eze is, he's not an out-and-out striker. You spoke about Richarlison. I don't think he's not gonna do too much this stage in his career. Dominic Solanke, he's flattered to deceive, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's had chances. He's not really done it. So yeah, they might struggle to get goals.
Yeah, true say. I mean, yeah, I guess but then I guess you could say with Eze, he would definitely start. Not saying that he wouldn't start Arsenal, but just knowing what Mikel Arteta might be like, he might just see it as, unless he's starting him on the left wing, for example, which I think, yeah, that's fine, but his best position centrally. I think for Spurs, he would definitely start centrally, especially now that someone like James Maddison is not fit. He's got
making a move for someone like Nicholas Jackson.
Well, after the hat-trick he scored against us.
No, but they need a striker.
Yeah, true say. But then is that
Jackson
really...
has scored goals in the Premiership.
Yeah, but is that really... Does that suit Tottenham? Is that a Tottenham type of player? Like Kudus, I can understand. Kudus actually kind of seems like a bit of a Spurs-ish player. I don't know if Nicholas Jackson is,
Yeah.
Not sure. I guess the pressure would be much lower compared to then at Chelsea. And he can play left wing, obviously. He can play as a striker, but you almost feel that if you're gonna...
I could see someone like Jackson getting double figures for
Well,
Spurs.
yeah, I guess he got it for Chelsea.
Chances.
Got it for Chelsea, I guess. I want to say Spurs scored some of the most goals last season as well.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure about that. But what I do know about Jackson is he's not the most prolific.
Yeah.
But he does create havoc up top, and he will get chances to score. And if you can have somebody that can develop him and nurture him, because he seems a bit raw and a bit immature.
Yeah.
But if you can get him focused and, align him with the team, which let's be honest, someone like Thomas Frank will be that kind of avuncular figure that could sit Jackson down and I think get the best out of him.
Yeah.
More so than, say, a Maresca could. What do you reckon? I don't know.
I mean, I think...
could see Jackson and Thomas Frank, you know what I mean? I could see that relationship might work.
Yeah, look, I think Thomas Frank is a really good type of players coach.
Yes.
In the sense that you think about what he did at Brentford, he kind of put a lot of players under his wing, and that's one thing that he was always credited for, like how well he deals with players. But then I would say, other than Ivan Toney, what other big, not saying that Nicholas Jackson's a massive personality, but what big personality has he kind of faced? Whereas Nicholas Jackson, we've seen at Chelsea, I mean, in the last season, he's kind of knuckled down, got his act together, but he's shown that he does have a bit of a flair in him, can maybe, like, he does need to be a bit reined in at times. But I do think Thomas Frank might be I think Thomas Frank would be fine to deal with someone like him. It's just whether...
I think what Thomas Frank will probably do, I mean, listen, I don't know Enzo Maresco, like, in and out, obviously, but someone like Thomas Frank, I described him earlier as that kind of avuncular figure that will probably put his arm around Nicholas Jackson and offer him words of comfort. Yeah. Whereas I think with Maresca, he's more He's
quite stern.
He's more stern.
He's not afraid. And you know, I'm not against that.
I'm not against that.
He's not afraid to say,
you need that as well.
Yeah, I think sometimes that's good.
But I think someone like Nicholas Jackson might respond better to someone like Thomas Frank.
It's true.
So he might be able to get a little bit more out of him. And we know that there is a talent there, but he just needs to cut out some of the excesses, like getting himself booked and sent off. Like I said, he comes across as quite an immature footballer, if you know what I mean. And I'm not trying to be particularly egregious when I say that, but you know what I'm saying. He's not really the most mature. Someone like Thomas Frank will help him, I reckon, in that regard. But hey, man, that's for Tottenham to worry about.
Yeah, man.
I mean, our own concerns.
It's funny that we're talking about Spurs, but apparently they're interested in Como's attacking midfielder Nico Paz. So they already know.
For these midfielders, but surely they need a striker, right?
Yeah, but they do. But I do think that midfield is so empty. You consider the amount of games that they're going to play, especially now that they're in the Champions League. You're going to be playing on average at 56 games in that season. You need a deep squad, and you're looking at it like, right, they've only got two. They've got two DMs now, but then James Maddison's basically out for the season, right? Kulusevski is out till maybe the end of this year. That leaves you with Kudus and Papsar. Who else am I missing? That's not enough depth. So they do really need to bolster in that area. I don't know if they've got anyone in their academy that they could rely on, but we'll see. But yeah, I mean, just moving on to Liverpool, because look, this is a man that we've spoken about so much, Alexander Isak. Now, let me just read to you what Fabrizio Romano has said about this whole situation, because more stuff is coming out today. So Liverpool maintain their focus on Alexander Isak for the final weeks of the summer window. New proposal ready to be submitted if Newcastle open the doors for the move. Alexander Isak maintains his position. He doesn't want to play or even stay at Newcastle. He wants to leave and join LFC. Now, I think the guys in the office next door was saying that he's not even gonna feature in the next Newcastle games. I mean, this is basically someone that we sat here before. I remember sitting here with AGT saying that we can't really see him forcing a move, but this is essentially someone forcing a move, saying, yo, I'm not gonna play for you, I'm not gonna go on pre-season, I'm not gonna train. It's either I sit here and I just get the money or you let me go. I mean, what should Newcastle do in this situation? Is it just worth saying, you know what, we just sell this guy because he doesn't want to be here, we can get a record fee, we can invest that, rather than, time's ticking. We're getting towards the end of the window now. I want to say it ends in September. You're getting towards the end of the window now. Options are very limited. We've missed out on Sesko and Ekatike. We need to have a thorough look. What's the point of keeping someone who doesn't want to be here? I mean...
Yeah. There is that, but then on the other side of things, there is, who else? I mean, it's going to be very difficult for them to bring somebody in at this late stage. Again, Nicholas Jackson might be an option.
Yeah, Ollie Watkins.
What
about Vlahovic of Juventus? Someone that's Juventus are, willing to sell, because he's not really, since he joined there, didn't really light it on fire at all. I mean, there are a few options out there.
I do tend to agree with you. I mean, I think personally, Alexander Isak's position at Newcastle now has become untenable in my view. I don't think that... I think with every passing day, with what we're seeing, the relationship is becoming more and more strained.
Yeah.
And I think that Newcastle have just got to be honest and say, look, that's probably it. It's a shame it's ended this way, isn't it? Because Isak was such a force for good for them. And for it to end this way is very sad. And I've got to say, Alexander Isak has not played a blinder. I mean, he's played plenty of blinders on the pitch, but in the way he's handled this situation,
Yeah.
I've got to say, man,
It's
the
not my
aesthetics
favourite.
are very poor.
Yeah.
I mean, him right from the start, this kind of late request to explore your options, and then the so-called thigh injury, being sent home from training, and then inexplicably turning up at Real Sociedad's training complex to do your training. I mean, that was so bizarre, utterly unprofessional. Now we're hearing reports that he's saying he's not going to play for them again. I mean, there was talk about some gentleman's agreement that he'd said that Newcastle had reneged on. I mean, if that's the case, why is this only coming out now? Why is it a gentleman's agreement? Surely it should have been in writing if such a deal was in place. I mean, it's just bad on so many levels.
Yeah.
And I really like Isak as a player, and I thought I knew him he seems quite a laid-back, introverted guy. I wasn't expecting all this. It's kind of disappointing because he's built up such a legacy there now, and it's becoming tainted with every passing day of all this stuff.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, Kenya, in answer to your question, I think his position at Newcastle is now untenable. I think if I was Newcastle, I'd just have to say, look, you know what? Reopening negotiations with Liverpool, eat a bit of humble pie because Liverpool said they're not going back in again. It just makes sense for them to get Isak off their books, erase him from the memory and move on.
Yeah. No,
because if he stays there, you're not going to get a focused player. The man's already said he don't want to play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I just think
he's already said that.
Yeah, my thing about this whole thing was like, it's always been about the timing of when he did this. So I feel like when Liverpool first showed their interest, he should have just been open and honest then and there. He should have just said, look, I love Newcastle. I've done great things at the club. I appreciate coming to, I got my big move to the Premier League. This club basically put me on the map and promoted me to, people now are looking at me saying, wow, this guy's one of the best strikers around, which is facts. He should have just said, but I still want to, I've won the club a trophy. I want to move on. And I'm pretty sure that Newcastle would be like, right, we don't really want you to leave, but they might have respected that more. But the fact that he didn't say anything, then he just randomly after a week decides, actually watches the club miss out on a target that they wanted to get to Liverpool, right? Which they were like, you know what, we'd rather sacrifice losing someone like Hugo Ekitike if it means that we can keep you. Then just to find out a week later, he's like, actually, I do want to leave. Then he's disappeared from pre-season. Eddie Howe's there saying, I only knew where he was because the media, I watched on the TV basically, and they told me he's at Real Sociedad. Like, doesn't the club deserve a bit more respect? Than that, especially a club like Newcastle that has shown so much love and appreciation for someone like Alexander Isak, who, let's be honest, at Real Sociedad wasn't the Alexander Isak that we know now.
Up trees.
Yeah, he wasn't pulling up trees. He wasn't the fantastic Isak we know now. I just think, man, I don't know. I mean, if I was Newcastle, I'd just try and get my things in order, try and potentially get strikers in, get in maybe Ollie Watkins and somebody else and sell him, because what's the point of keeping someone who obviously doesn't want to be there? And if he's saying I'm not going to play, that's different from saying I'm interested in a move, but obviously I'm going to be respectful, and it's a very different thing. But
once a player's said that, I mean, to all intents and purposes, it's over really, isn't it? Because you can't, because what happens is you can't trust that player anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't trust them to be focused.
Yeah.
And it's just a bad look.
Yeah, and just
and it's sad. Like I said, it's sad it's ended this way for him.
Yeah, it
because,
is very sad.
He was on his way to becoming a legend at that club.
Yeah.
Newcastle, they love a number 9.
Yeah.
What he'd done there, helped them win their first trophy in many, many years. And the fans idolised him. So to have him turn around and do this to them must be quite a kick in the guts. And the thing is as well, one thing I would say in Isak's favour is I can understand why he would want away.
Yeah,
so
of course.
We need to understand. We need to be balanced.
No one's judging him for wanting to move. That's not my thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, if that was me, no offence to Newcastle, but Liverpool are a 10 times bigger club.
Exactly.
There's unfortunately in football, there's pecking orders. We, as Premier League clubs as well, we know what it's like when Real Madrid knocks. It's just a different level of club.
It is.
But it's just about how you go about things. And I just think going AWOL and having your manager go on TV basically and be like, yeah, I didn't even know where Alexander Isak was until I watched Sky Sports News and found out he's at Real Sociedad. Like, to me, you can't then sit here and say, oh, but what about the player side? Doesn't Eddie Howe deserve a bit more? Or what about the teammates that you played with and won something with last season? Doesn't your captain Bruno G deserve a bit more of an explanation? Or I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's very sad, man, but we've seen this kind of thing in football before, and I'm sure it won't be the last, but it's not a good look on Isak. Like I said, he's tainted his legacy there. He's been a fantastic player for them. I've enjoyed watching him, to be honest with you, even though obviously we've been on the wrong end of Isak in Newcastle a few times last season. But he's a tremendous talent. He's done really well. It's a shame that he's allowed it to descend into farce, to be honest. But there you go.
Yeah, now I've just seen a picture of Benjamin Sesko and his agent are already on his way to Manchester, so he's very eager. But yeah, and apparently Harry Kane has scored.
Has he? Wow.
And he's missed a penalty. He just missed a penalty. I'm just having a look at it now. He scored in the 12th minute and then missed a penalty 3 minutes later. But yeah.
Wow.
I mean, just quickly wrapping up on Liverpool, Darwin Núñez is apparently linked to Al Hilal. Apparently he's open to the move. They're also linked to Nathan Collins of Brentford, which I think will be good for them because they need a centre back, and also they want Bradley Barcola. I mean,
who?
Liverpool. This is all Liverpool stuff. I mean, that's good. They've lost Luis Diaz. I guess they do probably want a left winger, but whether Bradley Barcola wants to leave PSG or not, I mean, he might be open to it now that Kvaratskhelia is there. He might. I remember when Kvaratskhelia was bought, there was reports of apparently him and his camp were very confused as to why he was purchased, because he actually did have a good season last season.
No.
But, I mean, Liverpool are showing a lot of smart...
Yeah, man, Liverpool are not playing.
Yeah, they're not messing about. I mean, as well, Harvey Elliott's linked to RB Leipzig as well. So, if they're able to sell...
There's an old adage, Kenya, I'm sure you've heard of it. It goes, you should strengthen while you're on top.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what Liverpool appear to be doing, which is ironic, really, because they bought next to nobody last season and still won the league at a relative canter. This season, they've gone out and splashed the cash. I think there's been a few statement signings in there as well. So, yeah, the way Liverpool are moving right now, they're moving mad, man.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they're looking to clean up.
They're looking good, man. Michael says, I'm so sorry, Sesko. I thought you would have a great career. I'm assuming you're an Arsenal fan. But... I mean, let's see what happens. Look, thank you very, very much, Laurie. That was...
No worries, man. It's been
an eventful window so far, but we just got to see what happens.
This must be the most eventful transfer window I can remember in recent years.
I don't think last season... I can't remember anything massive happening last season.
Remotely.
Do you know what I mean? We've had British...
Last season, there was a lot of near misses and a lot of speculation. This time, there's big moves going on. There's players... threatening to strike, temper tantrums, throwing the toys
players
out
that you thought were washed, they're getting moves.
You know what I mean?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, and there's still more to come. There's still more to come.
There's still more to come. But before we go, transfers, dramas, and now your survival instincts are getting tested. It's time for Vinyl One Stand-In. It's free to play. There's a 500k jackpot. There's no admin fees, and it's just guaranteed winners. Just every single week, pick one Premier League team to win. If they do, you're through to the next part. If not, if they lose or they draw, you're out. Download the William Hill app, scan the QR code on the screen, or click the link below to enter. Register for free and have your shot at winning £500,000. That's a lot of money. Yeah. You have to be 18 plus, and it's UK and Ireland only. And remember to always gamble responsibly. The terms and conditions apply, all of it is linked below. Thank you so much, Laurie, and we'll see you guys tomorrow at 5 o'clock.
Definitely.